Okay. In the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful. Just want to make sure I could be heard. Testing 1, 2. Okay, there we go. Once again, this is your brother Abdul Wadud, aka Questman, coming at you with another live Soul Journey of Life, the Light Dome, Conscious Black Social Media. And today, there are a few things that I intend to go through, but I'd like to start off with a word that I think is very important, a very important word that I think will help us heal and help us become closer as a people. That word is honesty. And why is honesty an important word to me? For some people, it's challenging to manifest the qualities of honesty, but for some of us, not so. In fact, we learn some ways with which to be able to um, move us in a direction to where where being honest is easy to do, and it becomes just a part of who we are in our day-to-day life. Um, for me, for example, being involved with business and interacting with, on different levels with, other business orientated minds, um, I find that the honest approach always works best. Now, don't confuse honesty with stupidity or gullibility or naivety or any of that, because that's not what it means. You can be tactful and be honest. You can even be clever and be honest. You can be strategic and be honest. None of that. Honesty doesn't mean you sacrifice. Um, you know, uh, 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 what do I want to say? Virtue or that you sacrifice skill and talent. Um, but that it doesn't mean that you can't take careful steps to whatever it is that you're approaching in your life. It just means that when you do speak, when words come out of your mouth, the effort to speak, the effort to manifest truthful words is of utmost importance. So that way, at least, you know, um, a person could say if they were going to speak about you, that when he speaks or when she speaks, the words that come out of said person's mouth are always truthful to that person's understanding. Um, as an individual, because for me that's more important that I can be honest starting from here. Um, it medically, therapeutically, it allows you to be at ease. It allows your heart to be, um, at ease. Content, because the least of your concerns in a day-to-day time is whether or not you're being honest, whether or not you're speaking truth as you understand it. You understand, as you stand upon, and that's like I said, that's something that I would encourage people to really reflect in, because I think it's a tool that 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 when we utilize that tool, we get better results, we get better outcome uh, using honesty. Because for me, there's no real reason to do anything contrary. Um, I don't. There's no loss. It's not a. It's a win-win situation when a person is a truth speaker. You understand? Um, like I said, you could be tactful, you could be crafty, you know what I mean, and still manifest the qualities of honesty. If you were my ally and you took refuge in my abode, it becomes obligatory upon me to provide you protection from any adversary, any would-be adversary. So if said adversary came knocking on my door saying, "Where is so and so?" Okay, I could uh, fix my mind or fix my perspective to my own vicinity, right where I'm standing, right where I be, and nowhere else in the house. But just right there, and I can tell them honestly, so and so's not here. And the person might say, "Well, are you sure?" I say, "Yeah, I'm sure. It's only me. I'm the only one that's here." Well, if you hear anything about them, or if you get any information about them, here's my card. If there's anything you'd like to share with us, just let us know. Oh, I'll take that in consideration, I might say, as I take the card and later to be thrown away. But see, that whole discourse, I was able, that example that I gave you contained honesty. It came as a crafty maneuver to an adversary in order to protect someone that has those rights from me. You understand, but still being able to maintain the position of honesty. So I'm saying that so we can understand that there's if you have any grade of intelligence, any grade of that, you're going to realize that there's more benefit in being honest, a truth speaker, um, than the contrary. There's more benefit. There's less to worry about, less to follow up on, less to to be caught, in, less webs to be caught in. Anyway, so I wanted to share that. Um, and this is your brother Abdul Wadud, aka Quest Man. Greet the people. Salam alaikum, shalom, hotep, peace be with you. Hope that your day is doing good. Full of the blessings of the divine, and that you're succeeding in the good of which you strive for. Um, so we're in a time where really, we're getting a reality check. You understand, regarding one another. We're getting familiar faces, familiarity, but with uh, those amongst us where we were constantly seeing each other, constantly being involved in some form or fashion, whether it be on social media or in our community. These times have compelled us to become more aware of one another, um, who's who and what's what, you know, and a lot's going on in our time, as you know. Um, One of the things that I observe as I watch the world around me, um, given the circumstances of war, rumors of war, things that are going on in the world at large scale. I was listening to some people crying and complaining about how they wish, and I'm quoting them, how they wish things could return back to the way they once were. And for me, that's contrary to reality because everything is forward moving and never moving backwards. Um, and since everything is moving forward or in a direction that um, chases future and leaves behind past, um, there is never no going back to the way things once were. And for me, I think that people who have wisdom would be able to understand not only could that never happen, that things could never return to the way they once were, at least as the people are understanding that idea, that they would instead take the benefit of learning from where they came from what they've accumulated of knowledge from their past, in those days and of when they were the way they liked them to be, and they take the knowledge of that and use it constructively to pave the way and build uh, for what's to come. Um, realizing that in this life, nothing's fair. Nothing is fair. There's nothing um, out of this life that you could never say is fair per se. I mean, when as humans to humans, when we encounter one another, if you were kind, if you're kind, I'm kind to you, and you're kind to me. If there's a piece of bread and I break it in half, I give some to you. And another person comes and I give them maybe we give them a portion. Per se, we're being fair, right? That's being fair because we're treating one another and any member that's amongst us equally. At least that's the effort. That's about as close uh, as we might come to regarding being fair. But even that um, is based upon moral values, having moral values, because there's nothing holding a person down, obligating them to be fair. That's something that you have to conjure from yourself. Being fair, I'm talking about. So there's no the world doesn't operate on fair. It operates on reality, on truth. You understand? This is what is, and so be whatever that manifests. Um, so we have to be able to cope and deal with the unknowns of tomorrow. Um, there's an old saying that yesterday and tomorrow don't exist. All you have is right now. But we're constantly, as long as we breathe our breath, we're constantly chasing, um, you know, certain aspirations, certain hopes of tomorrow. The thing is so long as tomorrow doesn't exist, you don't know what it's going to bring. Yeah, you have, like I said, you have hopes, you have, an idea of what you expect from tomorrow, but you don't know, and you may never get what you were hoping for. And sometimes you may get, it could be worse, could be better, it could be favorable. Um, but what you can do is pay attention to the um, the weather, the forecast, so to speak. You understand that old expression, foresight? Where you see certain patterns, you see certain things flowing in a certain direction, and you might develop a general idea. But the thing about storms, I don't know if you ever watched a hurricane or a tornado. I've watched a tornado before. I've seen a few in my own lifetime, and one going in one direction, and then just all of a sudden it cuts off and goes into a completely unexpected direction. When you saw the pattern was, hey, I'm going this direction, I'm going this direction, and then it's like, nope, this way, and then all these houses get torn up. Yes, indeed. Peace and blessings. Raw Vision Productions. Preparing for surgery in a few days. Dropping through. Well, in that matter, I would definitely pray for your healing and encourage you to make sure that you remain in a state of mind, body, and soul to promote further healing as you go through your surgery. I definitely, recently I definitely understand, being in that hospital, and I'm not one of those who enjoy that too well. But if you want to recover, sometimes you have to be in an environment that you may not feel too comfortable with, or so I've learned. So anyway, dear family. Welcome all those coming in and viewing. Um, Let me continue. I'm just going over a few little uh, side notes before I get to the main essence of what we want to deal with. Um, Another factor that I really consider important is that our awareness has to be wholesome. You understand? Our awareness has to be wholesome, meaning that we need to become more aware. We need to increase our awareness more than just our own person, more than just our own local community, but even globally. We need to become as aware inwardly and outwardly as possible. Um, and this isn't in I'm not talking in some kind of allegorical way, because it's like this: if a storm was approaching your house, you're going to want to know, and not just you know in a way, well, there's nothing we could do, let's just wish and hope for the best. Or you don't want to get caught up into some type of make believe or superficial, um want to say political gimmicks. You don't want to get caught up into something like that, right? You want to make sure that you have the proper knowledge of whatever is approaching you, whatever is coming. You want to have the proper knowledge to be able to deal with that. Because if you have, especially if you're person with a family, you want to. I mean, you don't want to be in a guessing game when it comes to doing whatever you got to do to protect your children, to protect your loved ones. You want to know for sure that, hey, this is what's actually happening. This is what's going down. And the thing is that it seems from what I've observed that many of us we get caught up in a really an illusionary kind of perspective on life, that you can see some political things happening, or some you know wars manifesting, and then you know can convince yourself that these things aren't happening. You understand that the idea that the life as you know it could stop, could cease to be that way, and we continue to delude ourselves into believing that these things aren't going to happen, that you will have the same comforts that you enjoy today tomorrow. You understand? These are no more than illusions. These are no more than illusions, family. um and we need to make sure, we need to do whatever we can to try to extract as much information and outformation to be able to deal with the real world that we live in. See, the idea of holding to strong convictions, strong faith, is applicable here, but it can't be. There's no real faith in anything if it's devoid of knowledge. You understand? If you say you have faith in something, then it's only appropriate for me to assume, based upon an understanding of what faith means, that you have knowledge also. Because if you tell me that you don't know what you say, you have faith, that you have no awareness, no knowledge, then I wouldn't be convinced that you actually have faith. To me, you would be telling me something delusional. You'd be delusional to me to say, "Well, I have faith, brother." Well, do you know what it is that you're saying you have faith about? Um, you know, and that's just a perspective. That's just a perspective. For me, there is no real faith devoid of knowledge, even if it's just a little bit, even if you just had a mustard seed worth. Um, because these are the things that cause you to have said faith to begin with, is some form of awareness, some form of being conscious of the matter. Anyway, so yeah, there's wars, there's things going on in the world, there's things going on in the world. And one of the things that I think is important for us to be aware of is, like I said, get out of the wishful thinking, get out of the delusionary, oh, we'll just hope something happens. Get out of that for a minute, and look at your children, look at your husband, look at your wife, anybody that's under your care that you're obligated to protect. And ask yourself, do you want to just have wishful thinking, hoping that somehow everything will go well, and these children of yours, your loved ones of yours, are depending upon um you being involved regarding helping them and protecting them? I mean, I'm just saying. So take for example the reality of war in an age where people have such weapons as could destroy massive amounts of population. And this goes on, this actually happens in our time. There's countries that have suffered massive losses of life, but somehow, many of, like I said, we sit in the comfort of our home watching this on the evening news, feeling exempt, feeling free from any catastrophes that could possibly happen. That could never happen to us. That could never happen here. You understand? But that's just the thing. It can and it will. And the question that you have to ask yourself is, are you in any way prepared for any type of predicament that could compromise, the way you're used to living? Are you prepared? Do you have anything, that makes you that puts you in a prepared state of mind and state of being, not just wishful thinking, not just praying about it, not just praying on it, but actually having preparations? I'm asking you to really dutifully reflect on your predicament. And, I understand I could hear quotes coming a dime a dozen of people say, well, brother, the scripture says that one day will come. I understand. We already know all that one day will come. But what do you have? What do you have right now? Today, not the day that the day will come, but today, what do you have that prepares you to be able to stand up and protect your family, stand up and fend for yourself, and be in a situation? For example, let's say bombs drop, blowing up all kinds of buildings and everything. Suppose even before that, suppose you had knowledge that one was on the way. You understand? Enough knowledge, enough time for you to, figure out, hey, we could pack up, we can go. Where would you go? You got any plans, any strategic moves that you could make to say, I have knowledge that this is going to happen and it's coming at this time. We've got this much time to work with. You understand? And I'm also asking you, spouses, the people who look up to who look up to those who are in a position to protect you, because not everybody's strong, not everybody's weak. You know, as egotistical as you want to be, as we want to be, you know, some of us are in need of protection. Some of us are obligated to protect. You understand? As strong as you might think you are, as independent as you might think you are, you understand? Just ask yourself these questions. How prepared are you for anything that can cost that can alter the way that you're used to dealing with your life while you've got people under your care? It's not about, well, if you're dead it doesn't matter. Right now you're alive, and as long as you're alive, your little ones depend upon you. You are obligated to, you know provide the appropriate protection to them. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sit in delusionment just praying on it? Are you going to, after you've prayed on it, no one is telling you not to pray on it, but after you've prayed on it, get up and manifest the essence of what you were praying about? I'm just asking, just something to think about. So, yeah, I mean, even where you are, you understand? Are you in a place that that contains the elements that would encourage that this is the best place to be. This is the best location. I'm in a favorable location. Being right where I'm at, or is better, than if I was somewhere else, or perhaps maybe we need to move, because maybe right where you are isn't the best place to be, isn't the safe place to be. Maybe there's better places to be that you should think about, and sometimes that might require detachment. You understand? Again, this goes into that delusionment where we get so attached to things that we don't want to do anything that might mean that we have to change the way we're used to living. So these are just things I'm saying. You can even evaluate. I'm saying this for that reason. Evaluate your life. Evaluate um, what's favorable, what's unfavorable. Like, for example, where is it favorable to be right now? What could you say would be the most favorable place if global war, World War III, whatever you want to say, were to break out right now? I mean, bombs bursting in there, you name it. And you know that this would last a certain amount of time. Once the smoke clears, what places are most likely to be pretty much just disaster zones, and what places would most likely be, places would be the places least uh, suffering destruction, and probably in a better position to manifest some kind of authority? What places on the planet Earth would be like that? If you were able to live through all of that, wouldn't you want to be in a place that wouldn't you want to be in areas that are more um likely to be um, habitable, in the aftermath, so to speak. With that in mind, I want to show something, and then I'm going to bring this to the main subject at hand. I was coming across, some stuff. I'm watching and reading a lot, reflecting a lot. I do a lot of reflecting more than anything, and I often have thought about the nature of different countries and their a bit, and the likelihood of what kind of dangers they would attract in the event of a you know a global confrontation. Which not people, but which countries, which areas in the world would be the most attractive to danger, to destruction. And I came across a video that kind of agreed with what my perspective was. It just kind of spoke over it a little bit. And I'm gonna show you this little clip. But it's just interesting that this person, or this person, they do a lot of like analytical, theoretical videos, like almost like what if videos, just perspective, just to get you to kind of see, if this was to happen, these are the likely outcomes. Okay. So I often thought about, out of all the places on the earth, excluding islands and things like that, I thought about the nature of Africa, and why Africa would be the least. That doesn't. I'm not saying exempt, but the least harmed continent in the event of a global war. Africa would be the least harmed continent in the event of a global war, and the main reason why is because of the nature of life in Africa. It doesn't attract um, the need for um, nuclear bombs. There'd be no reason. I mean, you understand, it doesn't attract certain things to the land because of the nature. It's an agricultural. It's dominated by agriculture more than anything else. Agriculture, resources, etc., etc. Whereas most of your major war-threatening politics happen in your wealthier countries. And I'm not saying that Africa's not wealthy. Actually, it's the source of all wealth, but that's another topic. um, those who those who have absorbed and benefited from the wealth is what we're talking about. These areas, especially the areas that are most populous, are going to be the areas that are going to be most likely to be under the gun, under the threat of any serious doom. So you have to ask yourself and look at where you are right now. You understand? Is that a good place to be? Or are you in a bullseye? You're going to know if you're in a bullseye if you're in a state or city that is like the international reserves. The banks are there. The big businesses are there, or any major infrastructure that supports the construction of weaponry and whatnot. Any of these areas, if you're living anywhere near them, you're in a bullseye. Farmlands. I'm talking about farmlands that support that said system. Anything near that, you're in a bullseye. And any major like megatropolis. You understand? Any major megatropolis, you're in a bullseye. So I'm just asking folks to reason. If you see a storm coming, what do you do? Are you prepared to do what it takes, or are you so attached to where you are that you're willing to just you bite the dust there, in vain, while you have your family to protect and look out for. So there's that to ponder. Let me see if I can get this video up here. Let's see if I can get the video rolling. Okay. I like when I come across things where people are being reflective and on things that are really happening. So I'm going to back it up just a little bit so we can, there we go, put it right there. So again, this little excerpt that I'm going to show you right here, this little excerpt is just, like I said, this is coming from infographics. This is a YouTube channel. Um, he was talking about the subject matter, or the title, what would happen after World War III? What would happen after? Just something to reflect upon. And I thought about the fact that he points out Africa, but I didn't just stop there. Like I said, my reflection, looked before it got to that point, let alone after. So let's take a look at that, and I'm gonna put this little disclaimer up real quick, because this is simply for fair use. You understand? This is for fair use right here, and it's simply something to build on and for educational purposes. So fair use. So let's take a look and see what we see. Let me put this streamer over here, streaming over here, and that way we can take a look. All right, zoom there and share the screen. So where I'm starting is when he's getting ready to talk about. In fact, I need to back it up just a little tiny bit more. There we go. He's talking about, like I said, remember the title is what would happen after a World War III. This is theoretical, but it's just, again, it's something for you, for us thinkers to think about, and just evaluate, and add it up or subtract it up, based upon what knowledge we have amongst ourselves. It's just something to think on. Let's see here. Share. Okay. It keeps making that pop up, so let's get rid of that. And I'll move that to the side. Okay, so let's take a look and listen.
Change, natural ecosystems will collapse, and a staggering amount of pollution will be created by the incineration of hundreds of major cities. Even after all of that, within centuries, humanity should be well on the rebound. What shape the world would take, however, is completely unknown, though it's likely that none of the current major powers would continue to exist as cohesive states. In all likelihood, it would be Africa which would become the lotus of economic and military power, as it's least likely to be directly affected by nuclear war, and unlike the rest of the world, they'd still be able to feed most of their population, as many African states have agrarian-based economies. One thing is certain, the nations that launched world.
Okay, so that's the little clip that I wanted to share and build on just a little bit. Just something to think about, the fact that even other people see this. You understand? Other people see the same thing that, many who reflect have been reflecting upon. That the value, or the virtue, if you will, of Africa being, the cradle of civilization, so to speak. Um, it's just something to think about when you're thinking about the nature of the world and the way things are going today, because things will happen. Storms will, things. I mean, things are going to go down, whether you believe them or are going to be or not. It's like a forest fire. You can believe that the forest fire is not going to happen, but when those trees start catching the flame, I mean, what do you say then? So wouldn't it make sense to prepare yourself, or to be able to have yourself in a condition where you're able to survive, or at least you have a standing chance? Um, Keep that in mind later on in this live. There's a point out of that I want to be able to build on later on in this live. Just keep that in mind. What are you willing to do? What How are you willing to position yourself in order to survive? You understand? Survival. And not just, I'm not talking about just you as an individual. I'm talking about those whom you say you love, your loved ones. You understand? Those who um, you are obligated to protect. So before I carry on, I'm going to go ahead and do just a tad bit of a promotion. I have to because this is what we do. You understand? So I'm going to go ahead and promote during this few minutes. Um, Soul Journey of Life, the shops, because many of you are buying your soaps and deodorants and your spices from Walmart or Kroger's or Myers or Sam's Club or whatever you have. But or even Amazon. But I'm here to tell you today that you could do much better, especially if you boast of supporting black-owned businesses. So, speaking of black-owned businesses, not only is Soul Journey of Life a conscious black social media platform, but it's also an online store. And you know, quite frankly, the best place to go ahead and get your your health and wellness and your hygienes and your goods of this and that, your incense, your fragrances. Check it out right there. Soul Journey of Life, the shops. You go to the shops, and every now and then you'll come across, some discounts, some coupons, some things like that. But most importantly, you'll come across good products. You'll also, be able to, if you, are a shop owner yourself, click right here, so to speak, and set up your own vendor's account. But as you see right here, we got some pretty decent prices for pretty decent products. Yes, indeed. From assorted incense sticks, mouthwash, deodorants, soaps, you name it. And the list is growing. The list is growing, family. So make sure when you get a chance, when you're trying to, stock up on your hygienic products and your good products, your niceties and whatnot, that Soul Journey of Life's the shops on Soul Journey of Life is your stopping ground. You understand? Right here, look, natural soap, $7. And if you got a coupon, there's coupons. You just have to know where to look. Um, Make sure you use that coupon to your advantage. Okay. And while you're at it, instead of bickering and barking about what Facebook is doing, what Instagram is doing, and all that, there's always Soul Journey of Life, the conscious black social media that you can go to and make your home instead, where it's drama free. You understand what I'm saying? Drama free, because it's the conscious black social media. And anytime you're dealing with the room or the realm of consciousness, you tend to be amongst those who strive to not only, elevate their minds, but remain drama free. Okay, so there is that promotion, family. Souljourneyoflife.org. Yes, indeed. All right. So, as you see in the title of today's live, or this evening's live, we want to let me get the banner up real quick. You saw me earlier this week continuing on the shout out for supporting Brother Ozone, but also, I want us to be mindful and stay alert regarding the circumstances surrounding Brother Kentay Thomas, aka Spite. A brother I had the opportunity and honor of being able to interview, which I'm going to show some of that interview here on this live and sort of, give you an idea for those that may not know who this brother is. Um, get an idea of just the character of the brother, and even just very brilliant, very intelligent brother, very intelligent black man, and one of those who I always like to describe as being a warrior scholar, because not only is he courageous, you understand, but he's also pretty bright, pretty intelligent on very varying levels, not to mention that he's also a father. and a husband with children, So, there's the website you see right there on the screen is actually the link or the website for which you can send your support and donations, should you so desire, to support and help out the predicament of our brother Spite. Um, I've got an update. I've got an update, and I will share it with you here. Um, for those that may not know, I correspond with the brother periodically, see how he's feeling, how he's doing, and so I like to break bread and share the update. But give me a second here so I can open that up. So yeah, he's been in there almost as long as brother Ozone. He's been in behind bars almost as long. Actually, he was en route uh, to Florida during the time of him being apprehended by the adversaries, um, foot soldiers. He was apprehended en route to protest, en route to be a part of the, any demonstration and to be able to, be there and represent, uh, the brother Otha Wallace. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, I could do it like this. So what I'll do is I'll read the letter, the to him first, right? That's what I should do. Let me back up. So that way, it makes sense as I read it and share with you how the brother is doing right now. So let's see here. I gotta go to set. Okay, there we go. So anyway, here's my letter correspondence to my recent correspondence to him goes as so. Peace and blessings be with you, dear brother. This is a missive checking in with the prayers that you are well, patient, and steadfast. Out here, the world is, as always, continuing to manifest its mysteries of why we exist in the first place. I am well and for the most part recovered. And that's after coming out of the hospital. Building with the community as I do. The struggle is real as always. Do you get to watch any news or such? As for you, tell me, what are you reading now? What's the quote of the day? And are there any brothers there whom you build with? Um, are you able to send photos? Um, the I think that would be good to share as well. The family out here really miss you, brother. What's the progress on your legal case? And what support are you still in need of? By the way, do you ever read any sci-fi novels? I'm a nerd, so this, gotta ask, and this is from brother to brother. Um, have you ever have you ever read Dune? D-U-N-E, Dune, or any book from this series by Frank Herbert? And as I put in parentheses, I said, I know I'm a nerd. Okay, I get it. I think I think that uh, and then I was saying I think that a few serious good readings for entertaining the conscious. I think those books are among the good books for entertaining the conscious mind when you're bored. As for I had a typo there. As for more spiritual, studious literature, I would suggest perhaps Ishya Ulumuddin from Al Ghazali. If that's too off your way, perhaps something from like Ivan van Sertima, a scholar of our story. Just a few suggestions. Anyway, update me with what you would like for the people to know from our dear scholarly brother. Stand strong, brother, and we will all see you through this together. Salam alaikum. So that was my message. Let's see here. Okay, now is this right here? Okay, and in response, Brother Kente said, and let me do it like this. In response, Brother Kente says, Shalom, brother. May this message reach you in high spirits. I'm glad to hear that you're currently feeling healthy, and I hope you grow stronger still. I'm pleased to hear you've got your boots on the ground and you haven't relented. I watch the news and read the paper, though I'm limited to Daytona Beach and its surrounding areas. Right now, I'm reading a sci fi novel. Matter of fact, it's by Shane Silvers. A real fun read. It allows me to escape when I can. Not the most constructive material, though. Um, I'm trying to read here. Quote of the day by yours truly: as long as you're doing what you're doing rather than as long as as long as you're doing what you'd rather do, you're not going to do what you're supposed to do. I build that's the quote of the day. I build sporadically with my brothers behind the walls. Everyone has a slim chance of coming home, unfortunately. Because of my affiliation, they've dubbed me as maximum custody. So I'm housed with people facing life, which I don't agree with, but I have no say in the matter as an inmate. I can't take any pictures, so I can't send any. It's not possible slash allowed. As far as my trial, I'll know more on the 23rd, which is my pretrial. I'm still refusing to take a plea for the time served. I never I've never read any books by Frank Herbert or any other of the writers you mentioned, but I'll keep an eye out. I'm a nerd too. As Michael Jackson once said, you are not alone. As far as support, my wife does a lot on her own, but I'd like to thank Dolores Taylor and Daphne for sharing the load. Phenomenal women. If I could share, uh, this letters are so small. If I could share one message with the people, it would be: don't be intimidated, don't be deterred. They're using scare tactics because they know we're on the verge of accomplishing something great. Shalom, dear brother, steadfast. Okay, so that there is the latest missive from my brother Spite. And let's see here. Let's go back to this thing. And so I definitely encourage the family to, you know, increase and do what you can to help our brother. I know, we're looking out for brother Ozone as well, but I also say, if you got $10, to spare, you can send five to Ozone, send five to Spite, like that. These brothers are incarcerated, they're behind bars, and they shouldn't be. You understand? They shouldn't be. You see the picture um, that I have up here, showing Spite with his daughter, and he needs to be back with his family too. You understand? For brother that, I mean, there's no reason why this brother should be behind bars. We have a right, freedom of speech. We have a right to um, express our grievances lawfully, and that, if you have been observing the matters, you know that the brother hadn't broken any laws. Um, anyway, so they shouldn't be behind bars. That's the bottom line. Shouldn't be behind bars. Let me show you. um, a video of a live interview that I had with Brother Spike, just so you can get an idea. And for those that may not have, know who this brother is, let's take a look. I had interviewed him in one of my sittings called "For Unity We Must Know," and this particular episode was "Every Day Life Breathes Us a New Lesson." So I'm going to show you a portion of that in order to share with you um, the interview with Brother Kente Thomas, aka Spite. Let's take a look. Let me enlarge the screen there. Let's take a look. There we go. Right. Check this out, beloved family. Let's see here. I might be ahead of it a little bit. Yeah, this was just when uh, they were looking for Brother Othel, Brother Ozone at this time. He wasn't
All right, hold on one
apprehended
second,
yet.
brother. Hold tight.
Give
Stand
you a
by.
time frame, a time zone
All right, good to have you
of
on
when
here.
this
Got the
live
brother
took
on the
place.
live here. Before I bring you on, I'm gonna show the family a news clip here real quick. Hold on one second. Hold tight one second. So let me make sure I could do this right. I got all these windows open. Can you hear me? All right, good.
Let's see here. I thought I was closer to. Uh, let's see here. All right.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think they could hear it.
The spokesperson told us the NFAC is a
Let me play that
strong,
again.
law abiding organization that does not espouse investigated what unites NFAC members. And
All
we
right.
found out its members
If y'all
across
can
the
hear this in
nation
the
are
live, let
armed.
me know.
They protest racial inequity and police brutality, and they demand police transparency. After our investigation into Wallace's involvement aired on Thursday, the NFAC responded, saying they kicked Wallace out of the organization in January. In a statement, a spokesperson told us the NFAC is a strong, law abiding organization that does not espouse anti Semitic, left, or right wing views.
He's a great father. He's a great guy in the community. I mean, this has never happened before.
Brandon Oliver says he is one of Wallace's good friends. He believes there is more to this story, and he's demanding to know what led to police approaching Wallace on Wednesday.
They want him dead, but nobody wants to hear his story. Everybody thinks he's a bad guy. He's a criminal and this and that. Nobody knows. They just know he shot a police officer and he's wrong. But you got to look at the first picture. Why was the police officer even bothering him from the first place?
So this is kind of setting the table for the time zone of when this interview
So
was
there's that.
with Brother Spike.
All right. So next up, beloved family, I would like to introduce our guest. He goes by the name of Spike, and the brother, like I said, he's been, doing what he do. You understand? Um, by his words, provoked by atrocity, not more than a vessel to exact revolutionary planning, and you know, from what I have learned about the brother, he's adamant about standing up, for the black cause, the cause of black unity, the black movement. Got a little echo going on. All right, shalom, brother. Welcome. Let me make sure you can be heard.
Shalom and Black Power.
Yes, indeed, Black Power. Uh, would like to welcome the brother on. Um, let me go over here. First of all, how are you doing, brother? Let's start by doing that. How are you doing? How's the brother doing today?
Uh, I could be better, but I'm alive. I'm being captivated. and I'm being provoked uh, to make sure that these efforts are continued. Yeah, I'm alive,
Yes,
which is
indeed.
most important. You know, the essence of humanity is something that makes the gods envious. You know what I mean? We don't know what's gonna happen the next day. We don't know what's gonna happen the next minute. You know what I mean?
You're
So
right.
it's a very challenging time, but there's nothing greater than being black.
What does that mean? Being black. What does that mean?
Being black is an identity to myself personally. I identify as black. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people think that it's unhealthy,
Hmm.
but I feel like that's a common is a common unifier. We hear that's the phrase that a lot of people argue that black, as far as what it means in the English language, is something that's ugly. But a lot of things that have to do with the English language mean something ugly. You know what I mean? The English language is ugly. Period.
Right. Now,
Black is beautiful.
hold on a second here. I'm doing a little screen adjustment there. All right. Let me ask you this. Let me say this. With a lot that's been going on lately, with the way the media has been spinning its stories, to the, from that to the, police hunt for black warriors, I've seen from social media that you have been very vocal and adamant about the circumstances of our brother by who goes by Ozone
Yes, sir.
and what he's been going through. Can you share what's on your chest at the moment about that?
Um, well, if you guys are trying to learn more about the story, you can find them better under Othel Wallace. That's Othal Wallace. Of course, traditional spelling. One of the things that's important about this particular case is his position. You know what I'm saying? In his life, it's
Hmm.
very important. It's a very unique life.
Okay.
Not everyone is willing to take on the responsibilities of their communities. A lot of us are focused solely on our home, and we know when we're focusing solely on our home, we are further contributing to the white supremacy. It's important that we venture out and we engage with our community, like you were saying earlier in your video.
Yes.
So one of the reasons that it's important to get this man out of jail is because he is instrumental and pushing along this revolution. There's not a lot of people that are willing to speak, especially in today's day and age. And a lot of times when they are speaking, they're speaking about something that's negative. It'll negatively impact us. You
Yeah.
know. So it's neither here nor there whether they conspired to capture him because of who he is or whether he was just a victim of circumstance.
So,
Because we know that this happens too often. We know that this happens all too often in our community. It's
right.
happened to it's happened to myself multiple times. And the police officer that approached him, the reason he approached him in that manner is because he's used to doing it.
Hmm.
He's used to doing
Tell me
it. Okay.
something. Why do you suppose, and it's clear to many amongst the black family when they do this, why do you suppose they insist on resorting to a negative spin or negative narration when it comes to stating the facts whenever it involves, an encounter between a black person and the so-called, what do you call, public service personnel?
Mm. Well, in this case, the black community is well aware. Uh, there's a dividing line between the black community and law enforcement.
Yeah.
And it's not because we just hate law enforcement. It's because of the history of the brutalization of the people in our community.
Hmm.
So with that being said, they're gonna try to twist this narrative. They're gonna try to execute him on the media. They're going to try to execute his character first. So you're going to see these constant depictions with the gold teeth. You're going to see the mug shot. You're going to see the police officers calling him a coward. They're preparing him for his execution. So
Right.
they're desensitizing the community. They're desensitizing the community. It's the same thing as calling a black man a nigga. Like I've said, it's the same thing as calling a black woman a bitch. The
Hmm.
same scenario as calling a baby a fetus. They're trying to desensitize him, make him into something ugly. So when they do is exact their revenge for him defending himself, allegedly defending himself,
Yes.
when then no one will care. And so it's important that as many of his brothers and sisters, the ones that he gave his life defending, the ones that he sold his motorcycle and he traveled those thousands of miles and he was at each and every one of these formations. For you guys, it's important that what I'm saying. We show the same effort. We return that same energy, as they like to say.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. It's what I'm wearing the same thou that I wore in that video. I noticed. Um, so yeah, that's brother Kente, and as you can see, is definitely a strong-minded, staunch brother, and a brother that stood up. You understand? For the people, and not just for the people, but for he stood. He also stood up for other people who stood up. You understand? For the people. So you can see more about that video. That video's on my it's in the playlist. Just look for the unity we must know, and you'll see that one in there. Everyday life breathes us a new lesson, and you can check out the rest of that video with that interview between the brother. It was a pretty good interview. Um, so there's that. Let me make sure. Okay. So family, this brings me to another segment our of this live. And with that in mind, I want to show you if you want to support the brother. If you want to support the brother, this is the website that you want to go to get that done. Let me share this screen. It is just like you see down there, the website Free Spite, and if you type that in your browser, you're going to come to a website that looks like this. It'll look just like this. Free Spite at the top left, Justice for Kente Thomas, and you can click right there, make a contribution, and you see, excuse me, you see, some photos of a brother Spite, his wife, his children. He needs to get back with his family, folks. That's all I'm saying. Here's yet another opportunity to exercise and manifest a sense of selflessness, a sense of duty for your people. Here's another opportunity to do that, to step up. you know Put your money's boots on the ground, and make a contribution to the brothers cause, because as you could see from the live that I just showed you, this isn't some random brother. You understand? This is a brother that has his head on his shoulders. You understand? And as I say, um often, I say, look, we need to protect our scholarly ones. We need to protect our brothers and sisters, with a mind on reflecting, with their minds on right. We need to make sure we got their back, because if you pay attention, a lot of these ones that they keep on killing and incarcerating and whatnot, they be on some very strong intellectual levels. They're not just plucking off anybody. A lot of these brothers and sisters that they're incarcerating or silencing are individuals, um, that many ways, are making a difference. You understand? Don't let them take away our scholars. Don't let them take away our learned ones. Don't let them take away our warriors. You understand? Don't let them take away our leaders. Don't let them take away the essential ingredients of what makes a community unify. Don't let them take that away. And like I said, we have to help us. So I would encourage you to go to the site and do what you can to support our brother Kente, and donate to what you see right there. Now, give me a second here, because I can stop that screen there. So give me a second, family. I will return in just a moment. I need to send a notification to our guest, and while I'm doing that, I can do this. Boom, boom. There we go. So I'll be momentarily I'll be back momentarily. Give me a second here. Get okay. So I'm back. I had to send that uh, communication out. So as you know, family, I mentioned earlier I was talking about survival. I was talking about survival, and with that in mind, um, there is an event coming up, and in that event is an effort to for the brothers and sisters for us to come together with the idea of survival in mind, and preparing us mentally, collectively for um, this type of thing, but doing it in a way that is, um, I would say, more social because, you know, the conscious camping event allows us to be able to come together and break bread as a family. You understand? While at the same time, we actually have, you know, uh, a collective agenda. So while we're waiting for the sister to come on board, this will be Sister Omo. Hopefully, she will get the message in time. Um, let's see here. It is now 9:39 in my region, in my area. And let's see here. Also, I will do this. I'm gonna put this link in the chat. So there's the link in the chat for the people. And I'm gonna just have this little this scrolling at the bottom of the screen here regarding Brother Spite. Let's see where to go. There it is. Just have it scroll at the bottom of the screen. And by the way, family, make sure you if like and subscribe, and that way the word can get out there. We can communicate, get the message out there. So like and subscribe. Um, I have a question. If you remember, you saw in that live. Let me do something real quick. You saw in that live. This was February 23rd. No, I'm not February 23rd. Hold on. Let me get the right date. Today's February 23rd. I'm looking at today's date. Um, hold tight. Because the question that I would have is, what were you doing on this date? Let's see here. I'm looking for that clip or where the original video was at. So, oh, I know what I could do. Let's keep it simple, right? Um, yeah, that's what I thought. June 28th. I just wanted to make sure. June 28th, 2021. What were you doing on that date? What were you doing, and how aware of events were you during that time? That was June 28th, 2021, when I had that interview. At that time, Brother Ozone was not yet apprehended. Um, there's a lot of elements were really, going on at that time. Um, and what's interesting to me is that a lot of these people who like to slander and talk down on these brothers, calling brothers agents, calling brothers, and while all this is going on, you had a lot of that type of drama happening as well, in social media. You had those of us who were speaking up, you know what I'm saying, speaking, positively about things that were going on, you know, even defending brothers' characters, people that were being slandered. But what were you doing during that time? What were you doing? You know, some people are just now becoming aware uh, that certain things have been happening. So you'd be surprised to know that not everybody is aware that these things are going on. They may not even know who Ozone is, or who Spite is, or any or GMJ or any of these people. They may not even be aware of who any of these people are. Um, and are just now coming to know, looking at back videos and stuff like that, just becoming aware. But the question is, what were you doing? What were you involved in during that time? During the time when these things were happening? Um, let's see here. I'm not sure. They may be busy because it's now 9:44. But I do have the link up there, family. You're more than welcome to come in. Um, we got to do what we can the support brother Spite situation. Because, like I said, if you watch the little clip that I showed you a moment ago, you see that we're not dealing with a random uh, individual, but actually somebody with their head on their shoulder. Um, a young brother that don't need to be where he's at right now, and needs to be another situation where he needs to be let free to drop these charges. And I definitely agree with him that it, he needs to continue being strong and steadfast, and refusing the plea bargains, refusing all of that, especially when you know without a doubt that you're innocent. You understand? And those of us that actually know the brother's innocent. You know, that's see when you're looking in from the outside. Many of these people, especially from other communities, all they see is another black guy, another black person. That's all they see. They don't see that, hey, this is someone that may very well be innocent. In their mind, we're guilty by default until somehow we can develop the money and the resources to prove our innocence. But when they see our mugshots on these screens, to them, they're seeing somebody that's guilty, that must have done something wrong. He must have done something wrong, right? Otherwise, why would he be there? But when it comes to one of them, they've got 101 excuses of their innocence, or why they're innocent, even though they know they're dead guilty. But when it comes to black folks, off the rip, he must have done something wrong. It's not. It doesn't even come across their mind that, hey, yeah, this person's actually innocent. You understand? In many of our situations, it's unfortunate that we don't have the wealth to be able to attain, you know, decent legal representation so that our innocence can be proven. And that's sad because that shows you something of the nature of the type of society we live in, where it's wealth that can get your freedom. You understand, and not actual innocence being proven. And or if anything, to it takes wealth just to prove that you're innocent. It's a shame that's the way that this land operates, because in that sense, many you can just imagine how many people, poor, who may not have had the means, have been found guilty simply because they couldn't afford, decent representation, and that be the only reason. The only reason. So, family, um, I'll try to hang around here a little bit. A little bit. I'm gonna put this up at the top there. Pin it to the top. I'll hang around a little bit more on the live. Got a little bit of a headache going on, but nothing too serious, nothing too major. Um, but I wanted to, like I said, my primary intention here is to be able to try to do what I can to remind us that Brother Spite's still behind bars, an innocent, brother who was amongst our warrior scholars who put the boots on the ground and stood up for the cause. He shouldn't be behind bars. Peace and blessings, justice. Uh, Welcome to the live. Yeah, just yet another brother who doesn't deserve to be behind bars. But it's good to know that while he is there, that he's not um, spending time in vain. You understand, and that he's actually utilizing his time in a constructive way, in a way that hopefully once he does return back to society, you know, he's more powerful, more empowered than he was going in. That's the thing that our adversaries fail to realize is you hem us up. We use that time to embolden ourselves, to embolden our minds, to strengthen ourselves so that when we return to society, you know, we're twice as powerful mentally, spiritually, physically as we were before we got in there. So good looking out. But you need to get the brother out. You need to get back to his family. I know that much. It's sad, that we've got an adversary that's so thirsty that you know they'll look for the sleaziest reasons to try to apprehend brothers and sisters, and they'll implement the shadiest tactics when taking our lives. You understand? When taking our lives, and it's interesting to think about this. That is, it's never. Most often, it's done in a very uh, shady way, as opposed to like in war. That people are that one side is going to come and take over and shoot at the other side, and the other side is going to shoot at the other side. You have an understood conflict, like a fight. Two guys get out, duke it up in the street or whatever. There's an understanding there. But when you're sitting there rolling up on somebody, they don't know what's going on. You got to resort to all these shady tactics and gimmicks just to take their life or just to apprehend them or something. That says a lot about the type of people that we're dealing with here. That says a lot about what they're on. Um, I think that's something folks need to look into really and think about. Um, so yeah, let's see here. So anyway, I don't know. They may have well gone to bed by now because the message hasn't even been seen. Not sure. Anyway, family, the link is in the chat there. But if not, um, we do our duty. We represent our brother today, and do what we can to try to encourage people to get involved. Put this on part of your to-do list of things to do when it comes to supporting the black community. Yeah, it's I just think that we need to pay attention closely to how the adversary does things. And it's just is what I'm saying is I often notice it's never in a a straight at you. You know what's up. I know what's up. Um, you're prepared for me. I'm prepared for you. Everything is out there. When two boxers are in the ring, they've been preparing for each other. Excuse me. Watching videos to see the others' moves, learning their ways, learning their tactics and stuff, so that when they get in that ring, you know what I mean. That it's a duel. These people aren't. They're not doing that. They're running games to do ones like that look like us in. They're running it's games. It's like game. It's like games being played. You understand? Serious games, serious uh, drama. Coming out of these, we need to really pay attention to how these folks move. Pay attention to how they move, their way of the modus operandi. Pay attention, family. Um, yeah, yeah, I got a bit of a headache. Let's see here. Trying to hang on to see if they show up. But if not, I'm going to go ahead and show you something of what is on the agenda in case you may not be aware. Um, okay, let's do it this way. Yes, indeed. I always communicate, to the brother, how the community's doing and any prayers or anything that's coming from the family. Any prayers or good words, I always pass that on to him so he stays up to date about us. We stay up to date about him. That's how we should be. So, all right, give me a second here. I'm just kind of setting up what I'm about to show you. What I'm about to show you. April, April 8th to April 10th, family, is the dates you want to have on your calendar. That you want to be uh, informed of. There we go. Yeah, I'll show this screen. Especially if you're about doing anything with the family, anything that's constructive. Um, Let me see if I can share this screen. Yeah. So basically, the date that you're going to look for, that you want to mark on your calendar, is you see this screen right here. Let's blow that up. It's April 8th to April 10th, 2022. That's the conscious camping at Davison River, Pisiga National Forest, North Carolina. Make sure that you get your reservation in soon. So that way, when we do the head count, we know, everybody that's on board that's going to participate, and it gives us an idea of, provisions and how to, what provisions are necessary. So do what you can. This is what you want to look out for. Um, uh, the link, that's what I want to show you here. But you see the details there of what the plans are for that date, April 8th to April 10th. I look forward to seeing you. But in order for that to happen, you need to go ahead and reserve your spot right here, this green one, where it says Conscious Camping, Davison River, PC Gun National Forest, North Carolina. This is how you reserve your spot right here. And the sooner the better. Um, we want to definitely, get this all in long before April even shows up. All right. So there's that. All right, family. So anyhow, um, I don't think there's anything else I'm forgetting. It's now at the hour and a half. I just want to make sure I got the main stuff out, that I'm not forgetting anything. All right, there we go. Yeah, I think we're in a time where a lot of truth is about to be revealed. It's interesting as I'm watching the news, as I'm watching the back and forth going on between the U.S. and Russia, and one of the things that they were trying to dog Vladimir Putin with was his narration of history. And there's a lot of hypocrisy going on right now, but they were talking about his narration of history, and they were saying, well, that's his version. And I'm asking myself, well, what about, what about you guys in your version of history? I said, you want to talk about his version of history, but your version of history is just as off. Your version of how things went. I mean, let you tell it. Christopher Columbus discovered America, right? That's what you say in your history. So how are you going to expose this man's talking over about talking of history, but your version of history is just as hypocritical, just as bogus. I'm just saying, the fact that nobody's holding you accountable for all of your human rights violations, you understand, and so on and so on, it says a lot. But then again, you already know. There's a lot to be said about what's going on in this land, and the hypocrisy that runs rampant at just ground level. At just ground level. But like I said earlier at the beginning of the earlier parts of the live, to our people, what are you doing? What are you doing? You see the storm amongst us. But what are you doing? Is your family safe with your plan? Are your people safe with what you've got prepared? Your plan of protection upon them, or are you a sitting duck? I'm just asking you because a lot of us, there's many of us who have this real heavy fantasy idea about life. You understand? I've even read in history, certain people who were just annihilated while they were praying. You understand? They were just praying and they didn't do anything. They didn't fight back or anything. They just prayed. I think some of them ran away, but there was a significant body of them that just got killed while they were praying because that's all they were doing. And I'd hate that to be us because there's a significant amount of us that have that type of mindset where, you know, we become inanimate objects when we need to be active objects, you know. So, yeah, I don't think we should be afraid of much of anything, but I also say that we don't want to be dummies either. We don't want to act like it's not raining outside if it is and go out without a raincoat on. You understand? So, we want to be aware within and without, up, down, and around. We want to be aware, alert of the reality, and with that in mind, manifesting the qualities of intelligence. Preparing ourselves when called, when preparation is called for. Standing up when standing up is called for. Sitting down when sitting down is called for. Not speaking when not speaking is called for. Everything in its proper time and space. So we can be spiritual, but our spiritual should not be at the expense of our practical. You understand? Our practical everyday life. Your babies, your children depend on your practical as well as your spiritual, but they more connect with, the practical needs as well. They're needing to be fed and clothed and sheltered and shown, grades of compassion and empathy. They have to have these experiences. You understand? They have to have these experiences, and if you're not willing to prepare yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually to do that, you're endangering the lives of your own children and your spouse. You're endangering them. So let's see here. Let's see here. Making sure. I'm going to take that as a note and an opportunity um, to sign off. I think I've pretty much covered what I need to cover for now. Then I can find out what's going on with the network. Or maybe there's some trouble in the area. We don't want to take anything for granted. Um, but and I want to make sure that this live has no problem getting established on YouTube or what have you. Yeah, my family is doing okay. Um, but I'm always, looking to improve and looking to make sure that, we have what we need to have and we're, positioned in the way we need to be positioned. That's the idea anyway. It's not always easy, but it's not impossible. So all I'm saying, family, is that make sure that your spiritual antennas remain up, remain alert on all levels. One not at the expense of the other, because all of our faculties are important and equally necessary in this day and age. We need to be prepared. We need to stay prepared and remain prepared in our time, as if our life depended on it, and it does. It does. We've got. I mean, we really have to wake up. It's sad, when you see so often, when you look out and you see so often that many of us are really truly asleep and not really willing to acknowledge the things that are going on in the world. Uh, and what's interesting is that for the most part, now that doesn't mean that there's delusion elsewhere in the world, but it seems like we show it the most right here in this land. You understand? We show it the most right here in this land, this fictitious idea of life and not reality. So I'm simply encouraging us to make sure that whatever you perceive, that that is not a deception, like a mirage, that what you see is what is, that your perspective of life is something you would die upon. If your truths are what you would die upon, then hold on to that. But if you have doubts, if you doubt even a little bit that your truths might not be so true, then I would encourage you to keep on your pursuit of knowledge, because you don't want to take your life for granted. You don't want to take your soul for granted. You understand? You don't want to take your soul, your whole existence for granted. You want to know that, hey, what I'm doing, without a doubt, for a surety, is solid. What I'm upon is solid. The truths I hold to is solid. You don't want to come and find out and remove the curtain and see that it was just a stone statue carved in the likeness of. Because there's going to be there's going to be unfortunate ones. Who these are, could be you, could be me, you know, because this is a struggle. Today we're strong, tomorrow we're weak. Today we're weak, tomorrow we're strong. You know, and the favorable condition would be to be found in a state of strength. That first impression idea, to be found in a state of strength, in a state of where you're at your best, and not in a state where you're blameworthy, or where there's something you can where you could be ashamed, of your position, of where you stand. So make sure that whatever your perspective is, whatever your idea of reality is, that is something that you would die upon. You understand? That you would have no. I mean, if somebody says, "Well, you have this and you have your truth," you know, so it takes work. Truth isn't a quick fix, microwavable meal. Reality doesn't work that way. You understand? It's not. Oh man, it's it's so many layers, so many depths, so many heights, so many manifestations of lights and darknesses, that like I said, it can get you can become lost in this aspect. You can become lost with knowing, but you're not lost in the sense of the world, like lost in the world. You're simply lost in consciousness and never come back. Some of the people that you might perceive to be majnoon or crazy, maybe they're not. Maybe they've gotten so far into the sea of consciousness that it just overwhelms them. They don't want to come back to this. They don't want to come back to this. Think about uh, those stories we read about individuals who have left with the promise or the concept that one day they'll return. There's some that had the potential to return, but they refused. So some stories narrate they didn't want to come back. Like, come back to this? Imagine. Imagine you see all that is in the celestial. You see the bounty, because you really couldn't see all, but you see the bounty of the heavens, of the kingdom, of the celestial planes or realms. And then you're told, well, you have the option. You can either keep on as is with the bounty that you have at your disposal, or you can go back to Earth and maybe live there for a little bit longer and tell them about it. It's like, that's like asking the poor man who suddenly becomes wealthy with riches as far as he can imagine, to ask him if he wants to return for just a little bit being poor again. I think you know how that would turn out, right? I think you know how that would turn out. So, not everybody that you think is crazy is crazy. In fact, some of the people that you might perceive to be crazy might be more on point than any of the people you think aren't. They might be more on point. I was looking at some personality um, conversations and whatnot, talking of something in that line. Okay, family. Well, yeah, it may be time to call it a night. That's what I'm about to do myself. Sounds like a good time to do such. Just make sure, that if you're interested in the conscious camping, that you go to Soul Journey of Life and click the support tab, or you go to the support tab and get your reservation on in. I have two viewers. I know. I see the two viewers, but they, they they might be ready for bed too. It's probably bedtime for them too. Y'all got work in the morning. Y'all got work tomorrow. What time is it now anyway? Oh, it's not even. Oh man, it's not even curfew for me yet. I'm a night owl. I'm one of those midnight folks. Um, but I've always got stuff to do. There's never really any free time for me. Even when I get done with this, there's something else I got to do, and something after that, and I even got to work in my sleep. I go to sleep, I'm still working. I'm dreaming, trying to figure stuff out. So I don't even get to sleep in. I don't even get to sleep in my sleep. I don't even get to sleep in my sleep. I go to sleep and they're waiting for me to check in. Like you're late. You were supposed to clock in an hour ago. We was waiting for you to show up in this particular dream. Now you see these doors right here. You got to pick one of them. Yeah, I get some pretty interesting dreams sometimes. Let's see here. Yeah, I sent her the link already. I think she might be tapped out. She already has the link though. But it hasn't been seen, so I don't know. Let's see here. Yeah, it still hasn't been seen. So she might already be tapped out, ready for bed. I don't know. Um, but when the warriors is asleep, their souls remain awake. Their souls remain awake, family. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't go to sleep. Keep your eyes open. Be where you need to be, because where you should be, that's where you're going to have your best opportunity to deal with your reality. Just kind of rhymed like that, but my point is what my point is. Um, okay, so family, let's see here. I'm doing this for a reason, because I'm looking at the time here. It's almost a 2 hour. I think I could get up to the 2 hour marker. If no one comes in on this live by the 2 hours, we'll go ahead and sign off for the night. I don't want to get to the point where we're, just rambling, because there's an ill in vanity as well. You understand? Idle time is wasted time. There's an ill in vain being, there's an ill in vanity. And so we don't want to take on those qualities of being um, amongst the people of vanity. Um, But I definitely encourage the family to, take a look at the video and make sure that you see what's scrolling down at the bottom of the screen. Like and share, and just remind people of Brother Spite if you can. Remind them Remind them, even if it annoys them, like, look, just keep, whatever you got to do what you can. Go to that site and donate for that brother's cause. We want to make sure we can do what we can to support these brothers' way to freedom. Yeah. Okay. Here. So yeah, it's. I mean, it's the way life is. Some days are better than others. I mean, some days are more favorable for certain things. Just like a garden, you don't water it every single day, and you don't weed it every day. Everything has its time and space. You know, we have to return to being calculated people. We have to return to being calculated people again. You understand? Um, because that's how we'll be able to take advantage at the coming moments in our time. You understand? Being calculated people. All right. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna link that video where I had interviewed him. I'm gonna link it into this video or the tail end of this video, so you guys can check out that live as well. I thought it was a pretty good interview. The brother had a lot of power to say in that live. There was a lot of powerful stuff going on in that live. Hmm. Um. So we do what we need to do. Let's see here. I know what I can do. I was trying to see if I could find this video. So let me see here. Give me a second. Nope, I can't do it there. I gotta do it here. Let's see here. Let's see. I got an old song that I can play. I think if I can find it. Mm, no. That's weird because I can't find it that way. Let me see if I can find it this way. And I'll go out with this song. That's why I'm doing this. I'm gonna go out with this song. Let's see here. All right, family. I'm gonna go out with this song. These are old songs. These are like I said. None of these are like professionally recorded or nothing like that. They're just songs that I did. Kind of you know, when I'm contemplating certain things, I just kind of put it in the form of a song sometimes. Um, There it is. There it is. So we'll go out with this song. um, wow. All right. We'll go out with this song. We'll close out with this song right here. This is your brother, Abdul Wadud, aka Questman, coming at you with another live soul journey of life. The Conscious Black social media. Have a blessed night, and perhaps you listen to the words of this song, maybe it'll have some effect. I don't know. But let's see. Uh, that and share. Uh,
Lost. Search. Lost. Search. They say two wrongs will make a right. I need a light before this joint goes out. Open eye insight. Flames unseen. Sight see sound. World moves around. Numerous dead kisses to crown. Body bags names. Too many blacks to count. Too many fights. There's always too many slacks to count. Sometimes I feel so sometimes it feels best for me to remain in the zone, solo. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm not your average. I can change temporarily in the savages. In layman languages, that means I'm incarcerated. Based on paper, I can't see how long I need this. Amongst my name is David, yet I see me like Sheila. Been a ship the face, This line will show me where my place is. I'm the race of many faces of existence. I contemplate the ways to change the axis of the wheel. And get these twice and contemplate the next battlefield. The world's walking up. Yo, what's the deal? It's your world. Be the ill that they spill. I pledge allegiance to the heavenly host. Swallow my nose, breaking all my chains and yokes. Through all the thickness, I keep walking the distance, hearing echoes and screams of Mother Earth suffering, mankind's tragedy. Search. Lost brothers living life like a roll of a dice. Only if you will think twice, choosing virtual advice. It's hard but try to live the life of the dice. Newspapers talk less of virtual advice. Lost brothers living life like a roll of a dice. Only if you will think twice, choosing virtual advice. As we roll across the mic, thoughts sparking the light. Many days and nights, full of virtual advice. The sky has no limit, unlike the sun. Spoken word, let it all be this one. A wise man speaks to a droll of view. The few ask questions, the pros refuse. Candlelight burns, the soul holds a track. I take my heart to heaven when the light hits my chest. Blessed when I strive to be the best. The body rests its neck, the next takes a step. I am subservient to one beyond the sun. Life never done, the race already won. I ever on, when the eye open, knowledge is the token, the dome holds a ton, the spiral keeps on growing, the rope I keep on climbing, above the mountain Zion, the voice of many waters keeps on going, 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 lost. Search. Lost. Search. Circular motion spiral, lifespan shines, the time it takes to unwind your mind of all the world grind. There's the dirty window so that I see all that can be because I am as I think, as I know, manifest what I show as I traverse the road. Travel my feet, collect the morning, raindrops to the side above, otherwise the extreme. You must rise to the beat and light and the fight. Don't let the darkness frighten. Follow my nose, cause only the nose knows. Created by the hole at the end of a rainbow. As I take this pull, when I drink, I only drink to glow. Steps calculated, what I say, where the idiots hate it. That's because they live their lives perpetrated. If you have an ear to hear, demonstrated. You know who that be in the mirror? Why he paid it.
Lost.
Thelightdome.